said, mine is kind of, there's some repetition in mine. So I can modify mine based on what I just heard from you. So.
I didn't say much.
I know, but so, okay, so mine is, hello, my name is Patrick
All
Burke.
right, so come to the front, please.
Oh,
Well, you
I
don't
was-
want
I
that
was-
light in your eye.
Yeah, well, I was saying off to the side so that this would be
Okay.
visible, but, so my name is Patrick Burke, and thank you for coming today. About 2 months ago, Joan presented our Principles of Marketing class with a proposal. Community education program wanted to get some insights into how the program was being received by the public, and if there was any way to improve upon what Mary and her team were already doing to increase enrollment. Joan felt it would be a good use of the materials that we were learning in class and presenting this in a real world setting. So using what we had already learned in our marketing class, taking it against a program that's already already in use, and seeing what ways we could incorporate what we have been learning. So after meeting with Mary, we began to evaluate all parts of the community education program and develop a few strategies to engage with the public and get their feedback. During the presentation, we will present our findings on public awareness of the community education at EDCC, at Edmonds Community College. Feedback received from the recent business symposium at Linwood Convention Center. Potential avenues of expansion.
So I'd like to hear small business symposium.
Okay. Feedback we received from the potential avenues of expansion based on interactions with local high school students. Suggestions for social media and comparisons against some of the other community education programs run by the local colleges. We hope the presentation will be useful and informative, and we thank you for your time and attention. Move on to.
Where are you going to exit?
Thank you.
I
Okay.
think you should introduce the next group.
Yeah, I would. I just wasn't sure who was going to be next, so
Over
that's.
to that other browser.
How does this slide tie
This
into what you're
this was what Megan was doing, and it was before Megan and I had kind of handed it off. So I didn't want to change it before I talked to her, so I'm going to go ahead and make some updates to this tonight. So tomorrow when we do our second practice, there'll be much more of this.
Thank you.
Are we going to run through this twice today? So we can try
We're gonna run through it now, and then we're gonna take a look at what Carol is filming for us.
Next up is Oscar and Carol. No, it's Eduardo and Charles.
Enter from here. Do you think you ought to sit with the people you're presenting with? Yes, okay, I do too. Okay, posture, none of this.
That's not good posture.
None of
Not
this.
good posture? Put your hand back?
Here,
Oh, okay.
or one hand in your pocket, you're fine.
Like this?
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Very good?
better.
Hello, my name is Eduardo Vargas, and I was one of the few students from the Edmonds Community College to attend the business symposium. I was there. I noticed everybody was well dressed, talking about business, something I wasn't used to. I'd never done anything like this. So at first I was a little intimidated by them. You know, never been in this type of situation. But as time started to pass by, I got more comfortable to the point where I was able to like engage conversations, like asking them questions.
Does he need to talk slower?
Just a tad.
Yeah, can you start over?
Yeah.
Yours is so personal and friendly, he engages me right away. All right, start over and just talk slower.
Hello, my name is Eduardo Vargas, and I was one of the students from Edmonds Community College to attend the business symposium. When I first got there, I noticed everybody was really well dressed and talking about business. I was never had anything like this before. It was kind of intimidating at first, but as time passed by, I started to get more used to it. Like to the point where I could engage in a conversation, started asking questions. When I was there, we asked them a series of 3 questions. The first question we asked was, do you know what community education is? The 35% knew what community education was, while the majority of 58 did not know it. Percent did not know what community education was. That was kind of shocking. I expected more people to know what community education is. And the last 8% knew what community education is, but didn't know Edmonds offered it. Okay, for the second question we asked was, would you be more willing to take a personal enrichment or a professional development class?
So, personal.
Personal enrichment,
All
yeah.
right, I heard pistol.
Oh. Personal enrichment class or professional development class?
Slow down.
48% said they'd rather take a personal enrichment class, and 53% said they want to take a professional development class. I think 53% said professional development because we were in a business-focused environment, so they were more wanting to like cement their business skills instead of learning a new skill, like a new fun skill. So the classes they brought up, John will go over.
Okay, some of the feedback we got on the personal enrichment side was they'd like to learn more about languages and culture. I pointed out to them that we had 3 classes in Spanish and 1 in Vietnamese, and also off-site learning. Maybe take some field trips, go places that they haven't been before.
Such as,
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I'd like to know such as.
I'll tell you.
Who got that question? Who got that feedback?
Okay, I'll tell you, such as, they expressed an interest in going to off-site locations for learning, such as the Boeing plant in Everett.
Okay.
Is that the,
Or the aerospace? What they
yeah,
have
is that
at
the
aerospace?
787 assembly? That one. Such as the Boeing plant in Everett.
And this is specific to the small business symposium. Because the high schools said the same thing, commercial field trips.
Okay.
Okay, so such as the Boeing plant in Everett and.
The Boeing assembly plant.
The Boeing assembly plant in Everett. Also expressed interest in culinary, maybe learning how to cook or bake, and also dance, ballroom dancing or modern dance. On the professional side, we got, the feedback was based on business management, marketing skills for their business, which social media, how to use social media to their advantage, and networking through social media, resume writing, and how to start a small business. These were some of the feedback. This is some of the feedback we got from the participants at the business symposium.
The last question we asked was, is your company willing to sponsor an employee? 44 companies said yes, and 40 companies said no. There's a couple reasons why they said no. First off, their firm was too small, so they can't resource the money for a training program at community college. Or they were a federal company, so they already had a training program, or they're already large, so they have a training program.
Okay, stop. What do you think of this? And that's hard to see for me. Is it hard for you to see the slide? Okay, so when you said, now, I like how you started with 40% said no, here are the reasons. So go over here and actually point to that, because this is really hard to see. It's faded. So firm is too small, and then point to each one, if you're comfortable doing that.
That's fine.
You're pushing yourself.
All
All right, go ahead, so start over with this slide.
So the last question we asked is your company willing to sponsor an employee? 44 companies said yes, we will, and 40 companies said no. There's a couple reasons why they said no. The first reason was their firm was too small, or they were a federal company, or they were a large company that already had an established training program, so they just need us. Another reason why is because right now we only have 2 business classes, grant writing for nonprofits 101 and 102. Not very many businesses can actually use that for themselves. So there's no real
Wait, say that again, we only have what?
grants writing for nonprofits 101 and 102. So there's not much use for those classes for some of the bigger businesses. So these were the results we got for the business symposium. So these are the results we got for the business symposium. A lot of them wanted to have more business classes, but we don't offer any more business classes. We really need to offer more business classes. We only have 2 right now. We need to expand on that. We should also open a booth at the business symposium next time, so we can spread community education to the business environment even more. Because right now we just have students going. We should open a booth also. That's it.
All right, the dean of the business division sitting here, and he's gonna hear your 2 business classes? It's not true.
But for what we are looking at, I mean, for what the brochure that we got, that we're
Okay,
going off of.
you've got to
we're not
refer back to that. 'Cause
Specific to the continuing education
Yes.
program at
Can you add that in there?
Yeah.
You have to add that in. All right.
Do Do you want feedback now, or you want it later?
I want it as we go along, first time, first run through.
Yeah, okay.
First
good.
run
You
through.
need a pen?
No.
Okay, so can you back up and add that in there?
Yeah. So, change slide then already. Oh, well, alright, so, right now we're only offering 2 business classes in the community education
Community
program.
education, yes.
And therefore, most businesses can't use us as a resource. We still offer very much right now in for community education. What we can do is add more business classes to the community education, and maybe open a booth at the business symposium so they know who we are, and so we can spread community education throughout the business environment even more.
So we did have a booth. I was
for-
behind the booth, so I know we had a booth.
You had a booth?
But it may not have been advertised well. As soon as you walked in the door, we were straight ahead.
Yeah, that booth, okay.
Yeah, it was an EDCC booth, but it wasn't focused, I guess, on.
It wasn't very, I agree, it wasn't the best representative. But if you didn't even realize we had a booth, that's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I was thinking more in that one hall, we didn't have a booth there. But I remember seeing Edmonton Community College had a booth out there.
we had a booth, we were one of the sponsors of the event.
True,
And helped
okay,
plan the event.
yeah. But you know what, I wrote that down. I added that into a speech. I didn't realize we had a booth there.
That's huge feedback, that's great feedback. So we were there and we didn't even.
We didn't even know it, all right? Anything else?
That's it.
All right, that concludes my summary.
Okay.
That's how I want you to say it. This concludes my summary of our research at the Business Symposium. Okay. Now, should we have questions after each section or at the end?
At the end.
I think it might be better to do it immediately, just because.
It's
the
fresh on
people-
their minds.
Well, the people that are also dealing with that are right there.
Right.
Yes.
So they can hit that, but I think try and also limit it so that it doesn't slow down the presentation too long. So
Okay.
maybe give just a couple minutes.
What questions would they ask? That's
What-
important to
I'll
be
tell you what
prepared.
they'd ask. They're gonna shoot their hand up and say, what do you suggest for community education business classes?
Are we gonna do that at the end? Have
Well,
a,
we're talking about it.
Well, because after this, they go into high school, so then we might, I'm just saying, you know.
okay, I thought we had a wrap up
All
at
right,
the end. but that's
let's
cool.
hold the questions. If one of our guests say, I have a question, then we have to take it. We have
Exactly.
to field that question. But let's not offer questions at
You
the
know,
end.
there's questions specific to
Yes,
the small business symposium.
okay. Make those changes?
So,
All right, good work, man. 100% better.
Where you're going, you're exiting.
What is it?
Are we gonna have notepads in front of them, or are we giving them notepads?
You can have
to-
notepads,
No,
yeah.
not them, no, the like guests, so they can write down questions as they go along, so we could introduce that at the beginning if you have any
yeah,
questions.
Carol was just saying that too, where
Perfect.
if we, and especially if Joseph is doing the wrap up in the end, that's probably a good idea to then hold it off until the end, and that way.
Okay.
He may answer questions that they have.
Who took the culinary and dance feedback? Was that from the high school or
I don't know,
from
I
us?
had one dance, I had more music than I had dance.
Okay, you
I
had
had some
music?
culinary,
Okay.
like guitar lessons I had, and I
Okay.
had a couple instruments.
You had music? Cause dance, I had lived that.
And I had somebody on in ballroom, but in the ballroom, like Edmonds or Linwood Center, they all offer cheap, so.
I'll put down music.
But yeah, no, dance is fun,
Okay,
too,
no, you.
I love dance, never eliminate dance.
Okay, that's cool. No, I just wanna make sure they go, what kind of dance would you like to see?
Do you want feedback? Can I-
Okay.
Is this a good time for
Do
that?
you have some?
I do. First, I think this graph is a little misleading because it seems like only a few people said no and a lot of people said yes. So maybe this needs to be stretched out, like instead of 44 to 40, it's 0 to 44, because it's really not that big of a gap. 4 is pretty small. So I think
You can probably reduce some of that white space.
All right, who's got access to that? Megan?
I don't know who designed, who developed the
I
graphic.
took that from the surveys that we had, so that's from.
Okay, so it was from
that-
already came
yeah.
out. So maybe somebody can make a quick Excel graph that was a little more, showed a little more
And
realistic.
who's going to do that? Who wants to do that?
I can do that.
Thank you. because there's only a 4% spread.
Small spread.
And it looks like
When I
it's,
put it in, cause like when I tried to add a graph on, from the Google, it was only giving me that, so I didn't really know how to go.
Yeah, I think you need to do a separate graph, so I'll see if I can come up with something that looks close.
okay, that's good feedback.
And then I have one other feedback. First of all, you guys looked really good at the audience, like, you know, you like
Mhm.
looked everybody in the eye and you spoke well and clear, like loud enough, so that was awesome. I noticed like this slide, you just read off the slide, I mean, we were reading off all of the slides, and, they can read the slide, so to give them a little more than is already on the slide would be great, so maybe, like what you were, Eduardo, you were saying about what classes we offered and what classes we didn't offer a little bit, maybe that could be discussed a little bit, just something other than just reading the bullet points off the slide, right? What other content could we give them here? Like, hey, this we have, this we don't have, this we think would enhance our program, I don't know, that's just something.
Okay, so for language and culture, you mentioned 3 Spanish, 1 Vietnamese.
Yeah, I didn't know if it's Vietnamese or Asian or.
Oh, you just
I
made
got
it
the
up?
thing right here, that's,
You just made that up?
Spanish, yeah, I ad-libbed on
All right,
that.
Ed Lib.
Okay,
Kinder.
we do have one here, tutoring arts.
We weren't
Starting,
asking.
starting a business. Arts. Oh, it's beginning Italian. Okay, my bad, cause she was Asian.
All right,
Yeah.
but you'll,
Wait a minute, this is the winter quarter. This isn't the one, this is winter 17, okay, yeah, right.
And we're not even offering the, grants, because I wanted to take it and I looked at it and we're not even offering it. We offered it at some point, but we're not offering it.
Because we were passing out the other
so we have
ones.
to take that
So
out.
I'm just saying, yeah, we
Okay.
actually, it changes what we offer each quarter, I guess.
Yeah, because
a good
the
thing to
first
say.
one we got had some different classes on it. But I'll give this to you so you can, read up on Italian.
Writing, yeah.
Okay,
3 Spanish classes and 1 Italian.
Those were first. So next we have Carol and Oscar. Did anybody else have feedback on that?
so you're gonna walk up the center aisle. Going to remove your hat. And leave your hat at your desk, or any desk. Thank you. He has some very dapper clothes on today, because he thought the presentation was today.
And I listened to him to wear the,
And you too?
yeah, I did have it.
Look at you, pretty clothes on today. All right.
Hello everyone, I'm Carol and this is Oscar. We're presenting the result for high school survey at Meadowdale High School. So these are the survey that you can look it up. And we do have the result from the Google.
Okay, so I found that if you pass something around while you're talking, they stop looking at the presenters. So we have the results of all the surveys, and,
I will have to punch it and put it there.
okay, we have the results of all the surveys. This is available for review after our presentation, so don't pass it around.
Okay. So Meadowdale High School is a public high school in Edmund Stick Street. The time that we were trying to get into the high school, we had a hard time because the security in high school is really strict. So the day we are allowed to went in at lunchtime, it was like a lot of kids in there and have loud music. So they were like really hard to get attention from us. So we're like trying to talk loud and we tell them about the public education and we show them the paper of what class they offer stuff. So when the time we talk to them like, oh, this thing can help you for your university application or work resume, they were like, oh, let me look it up. And they were like trying to do survey and they are asking questions like, what else will they help if they do these classes stuff. So we explain about the system and they were interested to take the survey. So now I'm gonna pass to Oscar to see the result.
Thank you, Carol. So, according to the survey, we have interrogated several students about the career and if community education found out that students are interested in fields such as computer science, sport, athletic, medical science, and engineering.
So say that again. We found that students are interested in computer science.
Yeah. This I chose athletic to sport.
Ah, that's what confused me, all right?
But I'm kind of thinking of if there is a word to replace this word.
Medical science,
Yes.
I think, I don't know yet. I don't know what medical science is. What does that mean to you?
I think next door they're teaching at the pharmacy and stuff like that,
Nursing.
can be medical science, yeah.
But there were a lot of people want to be doctor and nurse and stuff.
Okay,
I was thinking to replace it with health, but I don't know.
I don't know, I think medical is kind of important to me though, cause like that's what, when I was doing surveys, they were all like specifically like, if we actually didn't have a medical bubble and they wrote in medical themselves, cause they were interested in it, so like.
Yeah, and when I hear health, I think of yoga.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I
think of a
medical
softer
science.
skill.
Yeah.
So we'll leave medical science, all right?
Medical science. After we asked them if they were interested in community education, and we found out that 29% of sophomores are interested in community education, and 38% of juniors are interested in community education. In conclusion, we encourage schools to provide more classes in medical science, computer science, sports, and engineering for their students. I will pass it to,
But wait, how does that tie in with community education?
but
We are consultants for high school curriculum.
So these are the classes that we found the most popular in the survey.
Okay, so I think we might want to look at how can we incorporate some of those classes into community education. Do you understand? You know, how,
It's like if you're able to do that, you would have like a way bigger clientele or way bigger, if you're able to get to that.
so our research shows that students are interested in these. So the question is, how can community education incorporate, establish?
In order to grow your client
Huh?
base, in order to grow your client base.
Right.
The flexibility.
Okay. In order to grow enrollment, we feel it's important for community education to maybe offer a class or two in some of these categories. Do you have that?
So we just need to fix what you're gonna say.
Yes,
maybe,
that's
and-
right.
Yeah, so we can just work on the note. And then you have to pass to whoever does social media. Yeah, so
All right.
you're gonna say you're gonna pass to her.
So your ending was very good. That concludes our part of the presentation, all right?
Please see in one more student. Did you guys want to do it together?
So
should
we
we,
say pass to your name,
I pass it to the media.
All right?
and then we're
Do we have to stay here or we have to?
You exit that way. Thank you.
Hi Casey, this is Jake. So we're talking about social media, and basically like the point that we want to do is like how can you bring viewers in and get their attention and basically interested in the organization. A big trend right now in social media is short videos.
Okay, wait. Viewers,
Yeah, we can edit the word.
you mean viewers to community education?
Yeah, just like whoever, I don't know what to like
Let's
call
not
like
call
the
them
people on the
viewers.
site, like what.
Let's call them,
Potential customers, potential students.
Respondents.
People, I don't know.
potential, like, are they students in community education? They would be students. Okay, thank you.
But I think part of it too, you don't even wanna just captivate the students because you want like a bigger like for the social media aspect, you want anyone looking at the page that you could, so I feel like students is limiting
Just
it.
limiting?
Because you want like anyone the page basically, because even if someone's not interested in this class, it's a parent, for example, that just doesn't want to.
Let's call
put
them
their kid in
customers
something.
then, potential customers.
Okay, so strategies to captivate potential customers. So So a huge trend right now in media, or in social media, is basically videos. Like if you go on Facebook right now and look at timeline, there's videos all over. Right here is a link to a quick video of how I think we could easily, this one right here, is like a good way to get people's attention, especially for art. So this is a time lapse of a artist at.
Okay, make it big, please. Hit the square button on the left. Thank you.
You can get a student artist to come in and do that. Student video.
That's good, Barbie, you're moving that along, all right.
So like you see that, it makes you want to be able to do that because there's so many classes. We have pottery, there's painting, drawings, all sorts of things. You could very easily do like a time-lapse video to get people interested and make them want to learn how. Another really cool strategy could be just before and after images, or like start and finish. The YouTube is funny. So like for example, if it's like pottery, you could have like a picture of clay, how it starts, maybe of them like starting to mold it, then a picture of a bowl, then it finished painting. It's like shows like anyone can really do it. It starts from this, where to go. Stories of information other than just like these classes is a huge way to get more people on the site, because they want to look at the site just for what's going on in the community. It makes the page more interesting and brings a lot more people. Like it could be something going on at the college that's not actually community education. It brings more people to the page and they want to keep looking at it. Another thing, you need to make sure you're frequently on the page, because it just makes better with your potential customers. It lets them know that you're interested and makes them want to keep looking, basically. And then a better way to say that is probably not fun hashtagging things, but it's something that, like, for example, it could be find your passion, get involved, things that make people really want to be interested and go to community education.
Socialize, have fun, socialize.
Socialize, have fun, develop a new skill.
Yeah, it could be lots of things. So now, here's a link to the Facebook page, and Jake is going to show kind of what is going on with their page currently.
Okay, you have to talk much slower.
So kind of what we're doing almost is we're trying to manipulate how we show these kids what these classes would be by making it look like it's almost a social media, because I've been tricked millions and millions of times viewing some stupid ad on social media. Takes you to another one, takes you to another one.
You might need to be logged in.
You do.
I think.
So I mean, I can log in unless you don't log in as you. So the other day, we were discussing social media and we talked about what the response time was. Customers demand, like they expect on social media as their company to respond within a certain amount of time.
That's right.
And so you were talking about that without that statistic. It might be cool to add that in, that today customers expect, responses within this amount of time, and that would emphasize
Okay, I'll bring that in. Research shows that all Twitter posts want a response time within, was it an hour?
Yeah, that was really good, and I don't know if you were here that day, but.
Can you add that in?
Yeah.
All right.
You were here?
And so pretty much this is our community education Edmonds Community College page.
Is that the
And,
first part of the feed, Jake?
yeah. And
Alright.
if we just scroll through this really quick for the first time, you see a lot of reputation, kind of, I don't even know what the picture of that is. Kind of just boring, nothing really pops out. So the way that you can edit that is maybe fixing how we kind of advertise these kind of pictures, like Spanish beginning. That doesn't really look too fun. I'm sorry, but.
Okay, let's practice not framing it negatively. Spanish beginning could be a lot more alive
A lot
if,
more,
yeah,
a lot more
if
intriguing
we
if we change this. Okay.
we
So
did
really
something,
making
I don't know
things
what
sound
yet.
positive.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to tell Mary it's boring. All right. So here's Spanish beginning. We recommend to enliven this slide by having maybe some, what?
Some color, yeah. Some
Color, I'm
maybe
thinking color.
fun activities, maybe some links to go to instead of
That's
just
it right there.
favoriting
Have some
images.
links to go to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go to the next one. We recommend someone editing this continually to remove duplicate postings.
Good postings, yeah.
Okay,
It doesn't even all have to be pictures, it could be like something just of, like anything, like we were talking about, getting involved, stuff like that, like it could be a lot of different things. Posting, they are doing a pretty good job posting frequently, but it's still very repetitive, a lot aren't, and it's not grabbing people's attention, so it could be a lot more to draw people in.
Another huge thing is time too, like you see that was posted at 6:04 a.m. Not many students are gonna be up at that time. Or maybe it's a good time to post it because that's when students are gonna check their Facebook before they go to class. So I'm not really sure. I'll have to figure that out.
Remember
When
the
best time to
demographics,
post something is.
the people involved in this are in their mid-30s and 40s, so I
Maybe
just-
allowing a student to kind of work on the page with them and help them because like it will bring that age down. 'Cause
okay.
who we're trying to portray to is our age group.
Okay.
Well, that's what we decided, what we did in this class, we were targeting the business symposium folks who are more like 30s, 40s, and then the teenage and early 20s, right? So we had two different age groups we were targeting, just to exclude the other market.
The other thing is too, is like
But they
timeline.
both use Twitter.
Like frequency, you wanna be posting frequently throughout the day, but not frequently all at one time in the day, which is kind of a big thing, so like, yeah, you wanna have like maybe 10, 5 posts
Okay,
in that
so
day,
you could
but
say
not all at the same time. and
Successful
do
social
sporadic.
sites,
Yeah.
post throughout the day?
Yeah, cause if, like, you could have, like, you're saying that you want like a lot of posts throughout the day, but if you have
Okay.
10 right in a row, people are gonna be like, okay, that's annoying, like, I'm just not gonna look at any of them, instead of like, if you have it sporadically throughout the day, then they see it again, oh, that's cool, it reminds them again, it brings them back into it.
Okay. That concludes your social, All right, so who's
Pass it
gonna say
off
that?
to the next.
Jake, you're gonna
Yeah,
step to the front
Yeah.
and say that concludes our research.
That concludes our research on social media, and we're gonna pass this to.
I don't know who.
Thank you.
Not yet. I
I'm
want,
not sure, oh, here it is. The next one is, Nikia.
okay,
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I was thinking we're gonna do it tomorrow, since Mrs. can come here as well.
so you are not ready.
I mean, it is already.
Now, are you ready to present or no? Are you ready to present? You wanna stand up there and try?
Just drive around, man, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's just,
Just have fun with it.
Do you want me to fix something up there right now?
no, let's go on to the last presenter. Cause I want us to see the tape, to see how we can improve tomorrow. Oh, there's way too much on that tape. Way too much.
So this slide needs to go, because this is about the whole college, so that's.
All right, that's gonna be eliminated. All right.
That needs to be deleted.
And who's our last speaker? Who's winding it up? It's 12:10. We won't do this.
Okay, yeah, that's me.
Wow.
So tomorrow, will you be ready to present what you're, but the slide has to be upgraded too, do you know that?
Slides need to be deleted.
Okay,
These guys. That one.
Okay. So, it's up there?
no,
Cool. Should we, can you refresh that? Alright. So, yeah, suggestions. So, my suggestions are basically a compilation. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alright, basically a compilation. What we decided to do was to actually, make suggestions on the actual market research, okay? Because that's like the base and the most important part of the whole thing. We're trying to fill classes here, you know, and make money. So, you know, that's what it's all about. So it all begins with your market research. Your surveys are your best tool, you know, and obviously your social media is your best tool. So, you know, videos like was suggested, you know, just a daily post or, you know, at least a few times a week. Would be really helpful and as you get better online presence. Maybe hire a designer or just find a student that could probably you know, just help you design a web page that looks pretty good composition. What?
I was looking for a slide that said
Cool.
copy paste.
Yeah, so on your surveys, what we noticed, rounded out the surveys really well was, you have to have a box for gender. You have to know if they're male or female. We missed that the first time, and but you know, it's, so like a couple of us, we actually put the gender at the top and kind of guessed their age.
Do you want to tell why that's important, you think?
Yeah, it's important because, you know, you can, you know, target your market a little bit better. You have a better aim, you know. So, of course, you would want to like estimate their age and if it's a man or woman, you know, and you know, but like Mary told us, I think the ladies, their biggest market is women from 45 to 55 years old. So there could be a lot more out there, but you have to do the research. Entrepreneurs, small business, you want to know if they're an entrepreneur, are they just a small business? How many employees do they have? You know, that will give you a good idea of like, you know, how much money they have to spend for these classes as like a benefits incentive. You also want to know, have you ever taken enrichment classes before, and why? Why not? And why haven't you? And what I've noticed, I have it later on in the conclusions, that people, you know, that have taken the classes before, like a lot of people actually know about these classes, and people who've taken them before, they have had their experience, and they're like excited when you bring it up to them. They're like, yeah, you know, they brighten up, they remember the days. So they like the classes. It's just targeting the market and find out what people, business classes are very popular. You know, what people really want. Writing classes are really popular. People like to write, people like the poetry, and just relax. You know, you have your enrichment classes, but you have your personal, you know, your personal things. And people just want to just relax, you know, and they'll pay for that, and especially if they're learning something from someone who knows what they're talking about. Yeah. So, more observations of people who graduate are not usually interested. All right, people who take the class are interested, and we'll probably take another one later on. Right now they're kind of busy, it seems like. But people who just graduated, like they're definitely like don't seem to be trying to do anything related to school. They're just trying to work. Okay. So
They're trying to get their careers going.
Yeah, you know. And some people, you know, that have businesses for a while, they feel like they're on the right track. Like, I realize there's an ego there. Like, nah, I don't need that. You know, I'm good. I have a good thing going right now. You know, so that's going to need more information to kind of cipher through that. Edmonds Community College education yeah, the education program is, the average fee is $30 to $250. Yeah, North Seattle, 60 to 350, $100 there, all right? That's a big difference. That's our competition. Now you don't wanna, you know, put that on the brochure, you know, but you do wanna kind of nonchalantly suggest that to a certain amount of people, you know. Videos on social platforms that will strengthen your social media, of course. Okay. Definitely the brochure has to have pictures, just a couple pictures like it has, but the pictures have to be like the most popular classes, which you get from your research. All right. So my conclusion is it all begins with market research, and you need to build a team, sales team, research team. First of all, I mean, 3 people, the Mastermind Alliance, that should be a good start, you know? Establish your 4 Ps and your 4 Cs. 4 Ps first, that's the base. Your 4 Cs, that's the now. That's the contemporary way to do it. Gather research from online analytics and in-person feedback, surveys, and your brochures. And you're trying to fill classes, which means you have to target your market. And it all starts with that. But for this program here, I believe, you know, if they have people out there, you know, like, or just not even out there, just have to be like people out there in uniforms doing surveys all day, but that helps. But definitely that online presence will be really helpful for this program. So,
That concludes
this concludes our presentation, and thank you very much. Have a nice day.
more than a few minutes, but let's, how are you gonna show it? You're gonna plug it in there? Thank you, Carol. All right. Okay, so what needs to, so Casey and Josh, we talked about some changes to the social present